Alrighty, good morning everybody. How's it going? We are going to take a little local trip today. We're going to, well, let me show you actually. The best way to do that is to show you my Bing map here that I've got set up, which I believe I can do just by doing this. There it is. Alright, so today we are going to take off from right here in Campbellford, Ontario. Which has a little grass runway. It turns out after doing a bit of research, I have an aunt and uncle and some cousins that live in there. So hey, if if Aunt Patty and Uncle Dennis are watching, hey guys, how's it going? We're gonna take off from a little airfield that happens to be in California, and where we're gonna go is first thing we're gonna head northeast up here to this to the Marmora Mine, which is a very cool historical site. If memory serves, I was doing a little bit of research. I think this is maybe I just pull up a quick picture here, you can see it. So this mine was, I guess, heavily used in I think it goes back to just after the Second World War. So I think it was around 1955, from what I remember, is when did a lot of iron mining in here. I guess they found a whole bunch of stuff. There was iron, silver, gold, a whole bunch of stuff. And this is obviously it started now to fill with water, but my brother recently took a trip up here and said it was very cool, so I thought it might be a good place to see from the air. So we're gonna have a quick jaunt up there, and after that we're gonna head southeast down here to the Big Apple. Now it's not the Big Apple you think it is. No, we're not flying to New York. We are going to this actual giant apple because we want to be able to see that from the air. It should be pretty cool. This is in, now is it Colborne, I believe it is. Yeah, Colborne, Ontario, which is just east of Oshawa. Well, not just, it's a fair way east. So if I go or I zoom out my map here, like so, you can, or where did it go? Let's go back to our mine here. There we go. And then if we zoom out, there's our mine. And then down at the bottom there's Campbell. So then if I go to go back to the Big Apple here, which we're back in Colborne, there it is. And it'll give us a little marker there. And we can zoom out again and we can see kind of where we're going to be going. So there it is. So we're going to start here. We're going to pop up here. We're going to zip down to the Big Apple and Colborne, and then we're going to head west and land in Oshawa here. That's kind of our plan for the day. Should be a lot of fun. So one cool thing is that one of the reasons I wanted to show you the actual browser here is you can actually grab stuff directly from Bing Maps and put it into the simulator. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up our departure and our arrival. So if I just hide the maps for the time being, so you can see this, and we're going to do a search for, whoops, Campbellford here, as I try not to knock my keyboard into next week. There we go, there's Campbellford. So CPF8 it's called here, so you see it'll zoom in on Campbellford here in a little bit. So there it is, this little, it's got one runway of 2,117 feet of grass. So we're going to take off from runway 35 here, so we're going to set that as our departure. And then we're going to zoom out here, and we're eventually going to end up back here. No, that's Peterborough. So Oshawa is down here, I believe. There it is. So if I zoom in on the details of that guy, we will, let's make this runway, get a little closer. There we go. Runway 30, we will make this our arrival point. Now that we've done that, this is where the cool part comes in. We can actually add in some stops along the way. So if I bring back my Bing Maps here, what I can do, and this is one thing that actually makes Bing Maps pretty useful, is when I go to this and I right click it, as you can see, it will actually give me the longitude and latitude, which I am able to copy. And then when I copy that, I can then bring that back. So let me hide this again. And I bring that back into the simulator here, and I post it, and it will come up with a custom waypoint. And I put that there, and it will make a little marker on there. So I'll just hit add, and it'll automatically include that into our flight plan, which is really cool. So if I one more time pull up Bing Maps again, and then I go to the Big Apple and do the same thing, copy that, and then we'll do a quick hide of that, and then we'll go back here, clear that out, and we will paste in the new one, and it'll zoom in on where the apple is. There it is, and we'll hit add there. So now, as you can see, we should have, if we've done this right, well, it's kind of bouncing us around here. That's interesting. Maybe I should have done that a little bit differently. I don't know why it's sending me to sending me back to Campbell, or it wants me to go for some reason down to the Big Apple, and then back up to the mine, and then into Oshawa, which is interesting. It's kind of the long way around. I planned to kind of go like this. I had it set up like that before when I was practicing, but hey, of course, naturally, this is the way things happen when you try and do it live. So we will see what we can do here. Let me see if I can. Sometimes if you change this and say I want to go VFR, it'll actually update the flight plan for you. So now that's just straight VFR direct. So let me. I won't bother you showing the map again, but what I can do is go back here and clear that out. Put this back in. Hit that as add. So that should. Okay, so yeah, that makes more sense if we go to the mine and then go to there. Now, if I grab the one from the Big Apple, try and get that put in there. Hopefully this time it will adapt properly, and it did not. Great, awesome. So maybe we'll take a longer flight today. I don't know. Well, there are ways we can speed up the flights in the simulator as we go. Well, we'll do what we gotta. Let's see. I think there is a way. Like if I can't. I think if I do that, so that's not what we want. So we don't want to do IFR because that doesn't make any sense. So I wonder if we add these in the opposite order here. So let's put in the Big Apple first. I think that's maybe the way it goes. So that's kind of the path we want to take to get home. And then if I grab the longitude and latitude for the mine, put that in, and then we want to add that, I think, there we go. Now we've got the path that we actually want. That makes more sense. Okay, so there you go, lesson learned. You kind of have to go in reverse order when you're making your flight plan, but this will take us to the mine, take us to the apple, and then take us home to Oshawa. So this should work out pretty well. We've got our Icon A5 here, which is it's an amphibious plane. What I was thinking of maybe doing is perhaps landing on the water in the mine, which would be kind of fun. Definitely would be a good time. I'm just gonna say hi to everybody in the chat here. So hopefully you guys can all see that. And actually, I should do that. There we go. We'll set that to. We're flying. There we go. So that seems to work. Although apparently YouTube is not working for some reason, but it says it's sending data. But what can you do? Let's see. Oh, we'll worry about that later. It's that error. Oh, connection error. That's interesting. Maybe I'll just pop over and log into YouTube real quick and make sure that it's not complaining. Let's see. So if I do, maybe I just need to do an update. Hit update all. Hopefully it will update everything as I'm doing it. But it seems to be working on YouTube too, so I don't know. This thing's a little buggy, so it is what it is. Hopefully you guys can see everything. So now that we were all set here, we got our ATC options. I just used my initials this time around, DGB002. And there we go. So call sign should be Delta Golf Bravo 002. All set to go, and we'll see what happens here. This should be a lot of fun. Let's give her a go, shall we? So we'll let this get loaded up here, and it should be not too long to get everything loaded up. I'm just going to kind of have a peek on Facebook to make sure things are working the way they're supposed to be working. And I think they are. I just try to I know some people like to do some chatting while I'm flying around. So by all means, if you guys are doing that, you can say hello. Sorry if you hear a little extra voice there. And just let's see here. I think we're all good. Been fun learning about how to do all the streaming and stuff as well. But actually, I'm just going to do a little Facebook test. Facebook chat test. So I can send that, and that works on there. And then I should look at my little software there. Oh yeah, it's okay. It's working. We're all good. All right, here we go. This is Campbellford. Lovely town. If you've never been, highly recommend it. They have some. Look at that. That's awesome. They have a. God, they have an excellent bakery out there. They have an amazing chocolate shop, which is incredible. Chocolate factory, actually, I should say. When I was a little younger, we used to go and they have a fair, the Campbellford Fair, every year. And they, I think they still do it. They used to end it all in a big demolition derby, which I got a big kick out of watching a lot as a younger kid. So, and even now, I mean, it's still, hey, who doesn't like a good demolition derby, right? But here we are in the middle of a field somewhere in Campbellford, CPF 8, and isn't that something? That's very picturesque. It looks really nice. So there we go. We're gonna get ready to get out of here. Okay, so this is our ATC, and we'll move our VFR. Actually, we'll move these off screen so you guys don't have to deal with that. You can just have a nice clear view of what's going on. And I'm also going to get rid of this objective thing because we don't think we need that either, and that way it's not in the way of the chat window. But I think we're all good. There we go. I'm just going to make that nice and big, and I think I've set the AI to handle the radio comms for me, right? So, all right, let's have a look outside here. Here we are. Look at that. I had no idea this existed in Campbellford. Now I do. So actually, I'm just going to do this and look down to make sure I have taken the parking brake off. Good job. Very important. Let me zoom in on our instruments here. But yeah, that's a pretty good view, isn't it? All right, well, let's give this a go, shall we? Gonna rev this sucker up. Hopefully there's enough room on this runway to take off. I didn't really test that out, I admit, but it should be all right. Well, what's the worst that can happen? We go flying into some trees. But apparently, we'll just get up a little bit of speed here, and then I think we're good. So I can lift her off. There we go. Lots of room to spare. No problem whatsoever. I thought I got rid of that objective thing. Let's just put it over here. Actually, let's just take it right off the screen, shall we? That way it's not in your face. Alright, we're going to get some altitude here. And the mine is northeast, so we're going to take a little bank this way. And we're going to get lined up here a little bit, try and get a little more altitude. Not too much. We don't want to be too high. We want to stay actually right around 1,000 feet would probably be pretty good. I can level that out a little bit. We don't want to go too high here. This is about good. Well, I guess it does say DGB. All right, that's cool. So if I go down and I look at my, make sure I'm flying level. Right now I'm flying kind of high, so we want to balance that up a little bit. It looks like we're pretty good. Kind of want to get that down a little bit. Let's get back to our view here and we'll try and level this off a little because we don't want to be too high here. We'd like to be kind of, we'll power down here a little bit. That will help a little bit. Because we don't want to, there we go. This is a pretty good height. I think we can try and maintain that as much as we can. There we go. We should bring that down a bit. Looks like an even 1900 feet we got going now. Going down a little bit. Let's see. We'll try and maybe move that down a bit. It's been a lot of fun. Oh, and we can also put the landing gear up, shall we? There we go. Alright. Power her down a little bit, and we'll try to get down to an even, see if we can get down to an even keel here. We're about good. Alright, so we should be coming up on the mine pretty quickly. So we'll see, basically it should look, well, we're what, 3 nautical miles away. So yeah, we're getting close. So when we get there, what we'll do is probably do a pause and see if we can zoom down and have a look at it. And what I will try and do, because it's marked, I guess the mine is probably over here in this area right there. So the marker, I think I've done the actual, this is like the town of Marmora, as we try and bring that down a little bit. Actually, we should probably bring the flaps up because we don't need that anymore either. So that'll drop us down a little bit. And we'll kind of check this out. This is pretty cool. Yeah, it's very picturesque too. Very, very nice. Let's see here. So we'll have a look, see if we can, maybe we'll tilt down here a little bit. There we go. Look at that. That's awesome. That looks terrific. So this could be it here. I wish I could maybe, actually this looks more like the shape of it over here. Or maybe not. No, I think that's it right there. I can kind of tell by the sides here of the mine. So let's have a, we'll just kind of cruise nicely over that. Make sure we're not dropping down too low here. Yep, that's it. Check that out. Is that ever nice? That might be a little small to land on, I think, but what we will do is just take a quick flight over it, and what I will do is hit pause here, and we will go to our drone cam, which is very handy, and we will, I'm just going to speed this up because the speed of it makes a big difference when we're looking around. So I'm just going to see if we can, I don't know, where did that go? There we go. So we can drop down and have a look at it and see what it looks like from Bing Maps point of view. I think this is about 700 feet deep. There it is. Yeah, it doesn't do a bad job. Again, the rendering gets worse the closer you are to the ground. But that's just kind of the way it goes. Hey, Jason, nice flying. Thanks, man. I'm doing. Hey, as long as I don't crash into the ground, then I'm pretty happy. This, I guess, is the main, probably the building here. That check that out. Let me zoom up a little bit and get the view. But man, like, this gives you an idea of just how big this mine was. Pretty impressive. And slowly filling up. It kind of looks like the angle that I've got here. Again, the detail, again, as you get in super close, is not great. But you can see as it's slowly kind of been filling up, it looks a little closer to the top here than I would think. If you get down here, usually if you get down here by the water, and you can actually hear the water effects as you get closer. That's something I really like. They really took care of the details in this thing. It's pretty impressive. So that's it. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Whoops, let's try not to go into the water. But if I, okay, so if I reset my camera here, There we go. It's pretty cool how it does that, isn't it? We'll go back to our normal view. Put this down. By the way, if you are using a simulator, this simulator, I should say, when it comes to the drone cam, I would very highly recommend hooking up a controller, like I have an Xbox controller that I am using to control the drone. It makes it way, way easier to move around and actually see what you want to see. So much, much better. So I'm going to kind of loop around here. So we've got our custom waypoint. We're just going to fly. I don't know if I have to fly through it or not, or if it matters, but hey, we'll do what we're supposed to do. Apparently what we're supposed to do. Kind of looping around the long way here, but this is the custom waypoint that we made. So which actually shows up neat in the view part. So yeah, now that I've flown through that, it's gone to the next one as we pick up a little speed here. I'm a little turning a little tightly, but as this thing slowly makes its turn, I really do like this aircraft to fly. It is pretty easy to navigate, as you can see when you straighten this thing out here and make sure we're not headed towards the ground. And see, we're about 30 nautical miles away from the Big Apple. So we'll head that way, and we'll try and trim it out here a little bit and make sure we're all good, and get a nice picturesque flight back to Colborne, and we'll see if we can see the Big Apple from the air, and we'll see if we can zoom down on that. That should be pretty cool. In the meantime, we've got a nice clear road. It's a nice day, actually, very nice day. This is live weather that we are using, so which is nice. Try and get that balance. So we're around a little above 2,000 feet right now, which is great. There's my sister Jen saying "sweet flying." Thanks, I'm glad you like it. We will make our way here. Should be really something to see the Big Apple from that height. Should be pretty neat. So we make our way over here now. Looks like we're pretty level. Really is a nice plane. Very small. You zoom in closely there. There we are. Very nice. Really is a cool plane. They did a great job with it. So reset, and we'll make sure we're just doing VFR, so which is visual flight rules. We're just kind of flying by the seat of our pants here, but that is all right. No, we don't want to do that. That's fine. Now, what I'm told is if I hit this. Oh, that didn't work at all. All right. Interesting. I'll reset to that. Well, I didn't want to do that, but I did. That's what happens when you let's redo that. Yeah, it's gonna just make it for us again. So that's nice. We'll have a nice. Cool. I probably should have tested that before to see, because there is a way that you can actually speed up time in the simulator. So if you want to get to where you want to go faster, you can do that. But on the there's Campbellford over there. It's giving me the information that I need here. Very, very nice day for flying. Kind of surprises me because I thought it was supposed to rain today. Maybe it's going to be later on today, but so far I couldn't ask for anything much nicer than this. We are right on the money here. Seeing some nice open land here in northeastern Ontario as we head down towards Colborne, and then we will head due west to Oshawa. Man, it really is picturesque. Got a few lakes over here. I didn't realize they were there. as we fly just to the east of Campbellford. Yeah, they really do a great job with just the way everything renders and everything controls. I mean, I'm just cruising along here at just over 1,000 feet, it looks like. Couldn't ask for anything much better than that, really. We will move over a little bit, but see some of the cool farmland and fields here. Very, very relaxing. This plane really is something else. So let me kind of maybe pop into the middle here and let's have a quick look at our controls here now. So we've got our oil and water temperatures. So yeah, we're running pretty good. We're just at about, well, we could probably slow that down a bit if we wanted to. Our attitude indicator here, we're flying just above, so just above cruise altitude here. So we're gaining altitude just a little. That is all right. So what I might do, see if I slow that down just a little bit. You can drop your altitude just a little bit. So if I go back out to here, should be kind of leveling off. Okay, we're about 2,000 feet, pretty nice. Making good progress here as we head towards Colborne and the Big Apple. I've driven by the Big Apple a bunch of times. I can't remember if I've ever actually been in it. Maybe as a kid a long time ago. I can't remember. But it's a pretty good bakery there too, if you're ever in the area. Very highly recommended. So we've got, it looks like there's like a little population over here now. I don't know what, that might be Peterborough? I really don't know. Tyler asked, are we going to the Bermuda Triangle today? Probably not today, but that is something I do want to do, for sure, just to actually kind of see exactly what's in there, and hopefully without, killing ourselves, like so many aircraft in there have managed to do. So I'm just going to slow this sucker down a little bit, try and get our cruising altitude down here a little bit. We don't want to run the engine too hard, but our cruising should be around 90 knots or so, and we're try and bring that down a little bit. Just learning on how to control your airspeed and everything on a constant basis has been really interesting. I mean, there is quite a lot to everything, a lot more than I thought. And we'll kind of bring we're gaining airspeed because we're losing altitude here, so I'm trying to bring this back up a little. And that should slow us down. But man, could not ask for a nicer view or a nicer day to fly, I tell you. Man, pretty great. Pretty great stuff. So we're losing quite a bit of altitude here, which is interesting. So maybe if I bring this up a little, and I do the trim up a bit, and we'll regain a little bit of that altitude. Yeah, it's one thing, like straight and level flight is one thing you wouldn't think it would be a hard thing, but it's certainly a lot tougher than you might think. One thing I was learning about on some other planes which have autopilot, and I don't think this one does. So if I kind of power up here a little bit and try and get a little bit of height. If you can. better cruising speed now, but I think we're still, interestingly, kind of angled down a bit. Well, maybe not much, but I think we're good. We should start to gain some altitude here. There we go. We'll raise this up a bit. So there you go. We're about halfway between the Monmore and Colborne now. So making good progress. And man, certainly picturesque as we have a look around here. It's a neat little building down there. One thing I do wish, it would be nice, and this is really wishful thinking for somebody who isn't a pilot, I think, but it would be kind of cool is after you're flying around to be able, I know it does markers for like major areas and towns that you can all turn on, but just sometimes when you see a building or something like that, it'd be nice if there was maybe some kind of a, you know, as you're flying over, it's like, hey, what's that? And you could kind of click on it and it would tell you a little bit more about what you're doing and where you are, basically. All stuff that would be nice to see.
Trenton approach DGB 002. Request clearance to transition Charlie airspace. DGB 002 Trenton approach. Cleared through the Charlie airspace.
So I should try to explain, actually, let me hop in the VFR map here. So this, I think what's happening here when it says to request the Charlie airspace, these yellow lines, these are kind of the airspace indicators of certain areas that are covered by kind of different air traffic control. And so when you're crossing over one like this, you usually get that message to sort of, you know, permission to enter the airspace, let people know where you are, and that way, obviously, it's a good way to let everybody know, hey, I'm here, and certainly it certainly helps when you want to land too, because that is obviously something that will come into play. But as you can see, we're about halfway down here, and our path today is going to take us. There's Oshawa Airport right there, so we'll just head down due west. This is the 401 right here, so what we might do is just kind of zip down and cruise over the 401 a little bit, which would be pretty neat. We can see what traffic's going on. I mean, sadly, it's not live traffic on the ground. That would be unbelievable. But it will simulate it, which is always cool. But first up, we got to check out this Big Apple, and hopefully we'll be able to see it. So let me pop that out. Actually, what I should do, so I think I closed that and I don't want to. So let's bring that back up. Then we'll move it off screen so it's not in your way, but I can still see it on my other screen, which is a really nice feature of the simulator. Lets you keep your view nice and clear while still keeping track of where you are. It's always nice, very important. Little farm down there, check that out. Really is cool seeing, just like it never really see. Look, you can actually see the shadow, because I'm actually, coming up on 1,600 feet, so it's relatively low flying. But you can see the shadow right here of the airplane, which is pretty darn cool. And yes, if I got lower, then you'd see the shadow get closer. But we're not going to do that because we would like to stay in the air today. Very important message about flying. When you're, it's important to stay in the air. Good tip right there. Write that down. All right, so we're about 10, a little over 10 nautical miles away from Colborne now, and what should be the Big Apple. One thing is also a bit of a challenge to kind of get used to is flying in nautical miles. So, which is, basically, so when you say you're flying at like 80 knots or whatever, that's, kind of that's what the measurement is. So a nautical mile, if I remember correctly, is somewhere around 1.2 regular miles and a little above 1.8 kilometers. Just to give you a general idea of how far we're flying. I don't have a converter on me, sadly. But you get the general idea. Have a look here. Gotta admit, I'm getting really good performance on this thing too. But this Icon A5 certainly is one of the easier airplanes that I've had to control to keep level. And I don't know if that's just because it's smaller or what the deal is, but I've found that I've probably enjoyed flying this one the most. The one you learn on, which I believe is the Cessna 152, I think it is also very good and a great plane to. Apparently, Cessnas are the like by far the most popular airplane for pilots to train on. So almost anybody as they're learning to fly will probably fly one of those Cessnas of some sort to learn kind of what they're doing. As you can see, look at that, it's a nice little lake right there, huh? Too small to land on, but still very, very nice. I wonder how busy it is. That's a good question. I don't know. Shouldn't be too bad. It is interesting, however, when you go to certain areas. For instance, yesterday, I decided that I wanted to see if I could fly through or fly near the hurricanes that are currently down in the southeast. I think right now, Hurricane Laura, I think, is somewhat northwest of Cuba and heading towards Texas and Louisiana. And I was able to pop down there and kind of fly through it. And it was kind of neat. You could actually fly through it. Now, I don't know if it's the same type of conditions that you would be if you're flying in a hurricane. Probably not. I know nothing about that. But it was kind of interesting to go in there. You know, it was very dark, and to see the rain pelting off the windshield of the plane, and all that is done extremely well. So it is pretty impressive to see. Didn't see any lightning or anything, sadly, but that does exist. If you do, that's one thing I want to definitely try, is see if we can fly when there's a thunderstorm going on, because it will kind of reenact lightning. I don't know how accurate it is, but if there's a thunderstorm, it'll be a thunderstorm in the game, which is pretty darn cool. Tyler asks, is that an Icon A5? Yes, sir, it is. Pretty cool airplane, I gotta say. Let me show you the internal of it here, and let me kind of reset my camera. One thing I've seen, like in watching videos by real pilots, and I mean they really like this too, but they were kind of interested that they basically made the dashboard almost look like a car, or very similar to it anyway. It compared to a lot of aircraft dashboards, this is obviously pretty simple. We've got our VFR map over here, which you can do all kinds of things. Now, apparently this thing has an autopilot. I was trying to read up and see if it did or not, and it looks like there is. I don't know if that's in here or not, and frankly, I'm too afraid to play around with it, but that is something I was trying to learn about a little bit. As you can see, this is our altimeter set on the channel that we're set on for our transmissions with local towers, and there's our flaps, there's our trim, and the landing gear, which actually has two settings, but it has an in-transit setting here. So when you actually deploy your landing gear, it takes something like about 6 or 7 seconds before it will actually be fully deployed. But pretty darn cool. If I just kind of look around the back of the aircraft here, I mean, it's not terribly big up here. It does have a parachute. Now this doesn't work, I guess, because otherwise there'd be a little thing there. But I guess if you get into trouble and you hit this parachute thing, I guess this pops open. This top area kind of pops open and floats the airplane to the ground, which is pretty darn interesting. But as you can see, they look out the west here, or I should say out the left of the airplane. Very open. Like, look at that. Like, it's very, very open and easy to see what's going on in the aircraft. So, speaking of which, I should probably go over here and make sure I head towards our destination here, which is Colborne, Ontario. Are they leather seats? I don't know. Fine question. I'm guessing apparently these things cost somewhere around $350,000, $360,000. So I would say, they probably should have leather seats. You want to be comfortable when you're flying a plane, especially when you spend that kind of money on it. So, but really, I prefer my much more economic version of not paying that money and just buying a simulator and being able to do this. But man, yeah, would I like to go up on one of these? Absolutely. Yeah, they look pretty leather to me. I don't know. Tough to say. I'll look that up for you. But super, super nice, nice plane. Absolutely. All right, so let's pop out here because I think we're coming up. And that looks like the Big Apple from there already. So let's see if we can kind of fly over this bad boy, and we will. Yeah, no stunt flying. Trust me, that's not going to happen. Not that I would know how to do it in the first place. There are acrobatic planes in which you can do exactly that. So hey, if you want to do a barrel roll, then you could. But and not in this sucker, not at all. We're just gonna fly over here. And this looks like the place we want to be. So we're just going to get a little closer here. See if we can sit down and see it. Here, hang on. All right, so let's have a pause here. Whoops. Oh, and then we're hitting the screenshot button. Good job, Daryl. And now we're hitting the wrong button again. There we go. Controlling aircraft is easy. Okay, so you can see the apple right there. So let's get our, I think if we got our drone cam here again. I think I may have to change the speed of it again because for some reason it doesn't save the speed level. So I don't know if it's a bug or what the deal is. So you have to set that every time, which is a little annoying, but what can you do? So here we go. So let's zoom on. Whoops. Let's try to get control of our drone here. And there it is. Let's just zoom on down. it kind of registers it. Oh God, it looks like it's been painted into the ground. So I guess not big enough quite for the AI to recognize as a building. But this is the actual building where the bakery and everything is. But that's pretty funny. That's quite good. Very, very cool. No, I'm not sure if this is like one of those kind of shrub mazes that they have there. I don't. That's probably not true. I'm making that up, but that's funny. So sadly, I mean, the apple is there in a way. You could see it, but not quite see it. Tyler asked, "Is that Eastside Mario's?" It very well may be. Uh, so not the actual picture of the apple that we wanted, but still, there, there it is. So if you're ever in Colborne, I do highly recommend looking at the actual apple. It will be a lot more impressive than this is. But still, that's cool that it actually kind of recognizes where it is. And that something of that size would actually somewhat register on the in the AI to pick up and display is pretty darn neat. So let's reset our position here. We'll fly back here and we'll go back to our normal view. I think that's our normal view, isn't it? Yeah, it is. We'll reset our camera. And now that we've done that, we will turn to the west here and we will follow the 401, which is right here, I believe. And we're going to follow that pretty much all the way home as we kind of try and get a little more to the ground here. And we'll drop our power down a little bit. There we go. As it's loading and everything here. You can see every now and then you may get a small frame rate shutter, and that's more from it loading in things, I think. Doesn't happen too often, and especially in open areas like this. I've also got everything set to the highest setting, so I could probably get away with bringing that down a bit, but really it hasn't given me much problem at all. I haven't done a heck of a lot of flying over really uh, densely populated areas, like say in New York or downtown Toronto. Although downtown Toronto, I flew over a little bit, and it was pretty good. New York obviously is quite huge, so that would be perhaps something to give a try to sometime. But that's so far so good, and as you can see, it's pretty much right back to normal now. Kind of neat. Again, you can see our shadow right down on the ground there as we hover over the 401, and we take this right into our home in home base in Oshawa. And this would be really fun to do in real life, I'm pretty sure. Although I don't know how legal it is. I'm sure it's fine. I mean, if you got a flight plan, I mean, you can pretty much do what you want. But in this case, hey, we don't have to worry about that. We do have live traffic turned on, but it doesn't appear to be a lot of. There's no traffic around here right now, in actuality. So, straighten that out a little bit, and maybe we'll power up a little bit here so we get a little more height, a little more altitude, not height. Looking pretty good. So we got 40 nautical miles from Oshawa. So this is a really nice. Oh, look at that! There's a golf course. Man, a lot of bunkers on that hole, eh? Jeez, look at that! Holy Christmas! Jeez, probably go. Probably, I would be spending some time on the beach if I was playing that course. Mike. Really neat to see things from up here. There's Lake Ontario over here, obviously, as we drift over to the right. Let's see if we can go more along the 401, follow some traffic. You can see, I'm sure you can probably see the AI traffic there that it creates for you. And sometimes, occasionally, I haven't had this happen to me personally, but I've seen a couple of people where they'll be watching the traffic and a truck will wipe out or do something crazy, or they do kind of the direct, because it's all simulated, like the direct, like bouncing back, like doing a complete instant 180 and going along the road again. But this is a pretty good shot. You can see some of that. You might have just seen like car. Oh, there's a red car that just did like the direct bounce back. But for the most part, I mean, when you're viewing it up here, it looks great. As we're about a little under 2,000 feet. Just gonna cruise right along the highway here. There we go. Look at that. Make sure we get a little more height there, and I think we're in good shape. Looking good. We're sinking in a little bit here. Let's see if we can have a little more height going. We should be. Let's see if we can get up here a little bit. Gonna veer off from the 401 here a little. There we go, that'll get us a little more height. pretty nice. Nice little farmland here as we're cruising along. Nice and open. It really is an interesting concept how much just your engine speed controls your altitude. I mean, that really is kind of a big thing. It's a bit hard to get used to, but you know, you learn the more. Just a bit closer. That's right. Reaching toward the ground there. So yeah, I'm surprised that we don't get an indication of what town that is. I'm not sure. That might be Curtis. Bowmanville, perhaps. I'm not perfectly sure. There we go. I could see, but I'm gonna guess that's Bowmanville. See, it'd be nice if it would mark even like towns like this. Usually it does. I mean, it did mark Campbellford, where we took off. That might just be because that's where we took off from. I don't know, but I'm gonna guess that's Bowmanville. Fly over and you know, pretty nice area here. Try and stay. Nice and even along the right on the 401 again. Really is super chill just to be able to see it. If I go to the actual view here and just give you, like, you know, if I look to the left, there's what you actually see. I can't get over how big the windows are in this thing actually compared to some of the other aircraft I've played around in. So fortunately, the AI is handling the communications for me, which is very nice of it.
Toronto Center, DGB 002, 2,100 feet.
As you can see, we can move this up a little bit. There we go. Look at that. So we're going to fly over. It's interesting seeing that. So we fly over again. What I'm completely guessing is Bowmanville. I don't know. I might. And then I'm guessing this area is kind of the Curtis area. Maybe not. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm completely guessing. If I look at my kind of map over here, my big map. But that might have been Brighton, actually. No, we're not close enough to Brighton yet. So we're around. Let's see. Cruising along. It could have been Coburg. This is Port Hope. We're going to go through. No, we're not at Bowmanville yet. That is probably Coburg that we just passed over. And then this area most likely is Port Hope. And then, because Bowmanville and Curtis are a lot closer to Oshawa looking at the map here. So we're not quite there yet. But that's cool. One thing, it is pretty interesting how this has made big maps useful again. One thing that's funny, like it's a feature that I noticed that, now I don't know if they recently put this in because I really never bothered with Bing Maps before starting to play around with the simulator. But being able to right click and copy the longitude and latitude and paste that into the simulator is, as you saw at the start of this, was super helpful. I mean, it makes it so clean and easy. So if there's a spot that you know you want to see that might not necessarily show up on the actual map itself, it makes it super easy to pinpoint that, make a custom waypoint on the map, and away you go. Very painless. So we're getting some decent height. So what I might do is lower down a little bit. I'd like to try and level this out a little bit. See, one thing I'm not sure about either as a pilot is with your trim. Right now I've got my trim set relatively so the aircraft is slightly angled up, but I'm not sure if that, it seems to, like if I go back to my thing here, yeah, so I'm flying at a climbing attitude here. So I'm trying, so and the way I was kind of learning is that when you're going down, you kind of get your attitude where you want it first, and then we power down, because we're going to start picking up airspeed when we do that. And then the trim is apparently like the last thing you always do. So once you kind of get down into the speed, it should start leveling off a little bit, and we can use a little trim to slowly kind of balance that out. So now we're kind of at a descent attitude, but should hopefully level off a little bit if I've done that right. I'm getting closer. So as you can see, like the whole straight and level flight thing, not the easiest thing to do, but there are some great videos out there that I've been able to see that really do a great job. Like the flight sim community is fantastic. Just so many videos that I've seen, and just so many welcoming. Like they're just excited to have people interested in joining this crazy thing that they do. And I mean, these guys do not mess around. I have seen some incredible setups out there that I'm sure run well into the tens of thousands of dollars, if not more. I mean, there are people out there that build like complete replicas of like the cockpit of say a 747, which has more switches than you've ever seen in your life. But it's pretty impressive. They do such a really cool job, and it's really cool to learn some of this stuff. It's been a lot of fun. Oh, so here's a few. So there's Port Hope right over there. So now we're getting a few. There's Canton. So we're getting a few, and over there, I think that's going to be, well, that's probably, no, oh, that's an actual airstrip. Okay, but interesting how when we fly over like the main town here, which again, this is probably Coburg or Port Hope. But we don't, probably Coburg. If Port Hope is up here, then that's likely Coburg back there. Didn't give us an actual indicator for Coburg, which is interesting. It's surprising. So as you can see, you heard the tower there contact this WestJet 518 flight. So that's a real flight. That's actually happening. So it will bring in, and when you have live traffic set on, all live traffic will be simulated as well, including the communications between the two planes. So now I don't know how much, like, what's the way to put this? Like, for instance, just told the WestJet 518 to descend to 10,000 feet. So I don't know if that actually happened in real life, or if it's just, controlling the traffic. It's probably more controlling like the real traffic, and then combining that with, the traffic of players. I mean, God, I can't even imagine how long that took. So I don't think the communications is real life simulated. It's more kind of meant to make sure things are under control here in the simulator, which would make obviously more sense. That's a message I get sometimes too when I'm flying IFR, which is Instrument Flight Rules. which basically will give you a bunch of waypoints from your departure to your arrival that you fly to at a certain designated altitude. And that, they tend to make you, at least in the simulator, hang into that as much as possible. So that's one of the things when it comes to straight and level flight and trying to maintain that. As you can see, I'm still kind of sinking down here a little bit, although my attitude is just a little bit low. I mean, it's all slightly cruise attitude, so I mean, it's pretty close. Some of the bigger planes that have autopilots in them will level that out for you, which I have to admit is kind of nice. So that's actually, it's talking to me now. So continue as planned. Gotcha. We're 20 nautical miles away from the schwa. We see our map here. Actually, let me pop the map back in for you just to see where we are. And there you go. So we've made pretty good. We got another plane coming out here, so hopefully he'll stay out of the way. So this is actual other traffic. As you can see, this is into Toronto. So you're going to see a lot more traffic around this area. That's YYZ actually. And YZD, if I'm not mistaken, no, actually, maybe that's down here is the Toronto Center Airport. I'm not sure which one that is. But this is Oshawa, and that's where we're going. We're getting there. Not too far now. So when we get a little closer, we'll radio in and pardon my yawn there. So relax, you can fall asleep. Well, I guess if you're flying a real airplane, you probably shouldn't do that. Very picturesque. There's my shadow again. Really is pretty amazing. Oh, there. I wonder what little creek running through there. I wonder what that is. Interesting. It seems to stop like right there. Just a little. Oh, that's not interesting. Huh. See, this guy's got a nice setup. Like, talk about a nice little swimming hole there. That's pretty fantastic. And so you can see there the way some of that renders, it kind of looks like the trees are in the middle of the road, but it's really not too bad. And again, something that I happen to be since I'm kind of low at the moment, it's something that you'd notice when you're only at this altitude. Bogey on your 6, dude. God, I hope not. Although that plane that I was looking at before up here, oh no, he's actually kind of coming right at me. So we may actually see him. So if you keep your eye out for somewhere around this area here, and as we get closer, I may actually get a radio communication to say, hey, this plane, there it is right up there. So he's way above me. So, but there you can see him. We're nowhere close to each other. That's pretty darn cool. So I'm not sure. I don't have the other traffic indicator set on right now, but you can. So that would show you whether that's a real flight or another player, or what the deal is with that particular airplane. One thing it does show you in the world map, which is pretty cool, it actually shows you all the traffic in the area that you're looking at the moment. So as we're still sinking down here a little bit, so maybe I should try and increase speed here a little bit, and we'll pull up a bit. There we go. You don't want to get too low, but anyway, there is that guy. So yeah, as you can see, it's kind of funny. I guess maybe if I go back to the VFR map, so it shows, it's like, oh my God, we're going right at each other. What's going on? So, but as you can tell, I guess my plane is bigger. I don't know if it's just to indicate me, or if it's the altitude, but usually if it was something like if we were around the same altitude, I get an indication from a tower to say, hey, you should be aware this guy is flying right at you. You might want to figure that out. So you can see a few more planes here. What's also cool is when you look at real live traffic on the global map, it will, you see a real flight, it will tell you some info about the flight, where it departed from, where it's going to. And also you're able to click on airports and it will give you all the actual traffic of planes that are flying in and out there. So I looked at the YYZ airport a little earlier this morning, and it showed like all the flights that are coming in. I mean, and there's local flights. There's a few flights going to St. John's, Newfoundland. There's another flight going to like Abu Dhabi. So I mean, there's just all kinds of traffic in and out of there. Probably not so much these days, but it's still there. I mean, imagine when things are kind of back to normal, and seeing what the regular aircraft traffic is like. That's going to be very interesting. So as you can see, we're getting pretty close now, so I'll pop that back out. Cruise along. Let's have a look at our, there we go. What a nice view. And we're back up to a bit of a climbing attitude here. But that's all right. We'll have to lower that in a little bit. We're getting pretty close. There's Hampton over there. Have a quick look at our left here. I shot Lake Ontario. I'm guessing that's probably Curtis or Bowmanville over on in that area there, because we're getting pretty close to Oshawa. It's probably Bowmanville. This is probably Curtis, I would guess, and then because we're getting relatively close to Oshawa now. Let's see here. We should William land on the smallest lake. Yeah, it's funny. Imagine one of the things I've noticed. It's funny, and it's just funny because my nephews do this all the time. Because I ask them, where they want to see, and they told me like my nephew Ben wanted to see the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, so I did a fly over of that, and then he's like, "Crash the plane! You gotta crash the plane!" So it's like, it's just funny. Like it's when you do crash, just in case you haven't seen it. I mean, you might happen to see the plane kind of bounce off the ground, but there's no kinds of crash physics whatsoever. Generally, once you're unable to fly, the entire screen goes black, and it said you have damaged your plane beyond being able to fly, basically. So it's not terribly exciting when you when you do crash, and I doubt that'll change anytime soon. So sorry to disappoint the crash fans out there, but that's just kind of the way this, for obvious reasons, they're not going to make Michael Bay explosion crashes in the game for for people to see, because then that's all you would see. And that's got to be probably Bowmanville. Bowmanville's a bit bigger than Curtis, isn't it? Probably. Pretty neat. Oh, we're within 10 nautical miles of Oshawa now. Now comes the pressure part. Now that's where I gotta land with people watching. Because, landing isn't enough pressure as it is. I gotta do it when people are around to make fun of me when I blow it. But we should be fine. What could go wrong? Look at everybody's, a lot of swimming pools in Bowmanville. Assuming this is Bowmanville. Look at that. That's pretty nice. So cool to see all this stuff. Lots to see in Ontario. Very nice. Zooming along. Oh, that's not the pole I want anymore. I'm just going to turn a little this way so we get a little more online with our target here. Reset the camera so we can see where we're going. I am really glad I picked up this flight yoke though. Man, does it ever make a difference. It really immerses you in the whole experience in a cool way. So if this is something you have or want to check out, I would definitely look into it. I'm using the Logitech, I believe it's called the Cytec flight yoke, which is pretty much one of the more basic. It's been around for quite some time, actually. I think it's about, they've had upgraded models, I'm sure, but it's been around for at least, I want to say, like close to 10 years. I guess quite a while. But works like a charm in this baby. So I got no complaints. So if you're just a starter like me, I would, and are interested in it, I would definitely check that out. There are all kinds of pieces you can add on. Like you can get a rudder piece that for your feet, and you can get other components like switches and stuff that you would put on, like they kind of plug in, or not plug in, but you can kind of screw them on top of the flight yoke, so you've got a whole kind of set in front of you. I don't think I'll ever get quite that into it, especially since each piece is quite expensive. It's pretty amazing how quickly you can just pour money down this if you really want to. But it's pretty amazing actually. But this is a good entry flight yoke. There are other ones out there that are excuse me, that are more expensive. But this one is doing me just fine. 5 nautical miles now to Oshawa, and we should probably think about landing. So, I don't know if I have to in my...
Tower DGB-002 is 5 miles east with Oscar to land. DGB-002 tower. Fly straight to runway 30. Altimeter 30.07 wind calm.
Wind calm, that's good to hear.
DGB-002 clear to land runway 30. Wind calm.
Alright, so there's my path to land, so I should...
Land runway 30 DGB-002.
I'm actually pretty close, so I was kind of going a little right on the nose here, so we're going to slide on over here and start slowing down a little. Not too much, we don't want to drop, what are we at, about 2,000, so our height is, our altitude, I keep saying height, altitude is what you're supposed to be saying. We're not too bad. I think there's the landing area right there. So, and then we're going to start slowing down. And what we should do while I'm thinking about it is, let's get the landing gear down. There we go. And I'll get more into the path here. It's already yelling at me for going too fast. It always does this. Like I find I need the pathing part more, just because generally when you're landing at bigger airports, they could have 4, 5, 6 different runways and they land in both directions. So it's pretty much impossible from the air unless you've looked at the airport itself ahead of time to know what's what. So I'm putting some flaps down here, which is going to pop me up in the air a little bit. That should also start to slow me down. Let's reset the camera there to make sure we're not... Alright, so we're a little high. So we'll see if we can drop down here a little bit. starting to lose some altitude now. I mean, we're gaining airspeed because of the fact that we're dropping relatively fast. So actually, what I probably want to do is I want to kind of aim down here a little bit. We want to get a little lower. You can almost idle pretty much all the way in here. Now we are a bit low. Sorry, I should say a bit high. So we're going to dip down here a little ways. This will gain us some speed, but then we should be able to level that off pretty easily. Again, we're a bit high, but this will. It's too fast. I realize it's too fast. Not a lot I can do about that right now unless I drop down and kind of... Then we pull up here a little bit. See, as you can see, this isn't easy. But okay, apparently we're right on the money for speed now. Anyway, so we can maybe increase it a little bit as we ease her in. I think we're looking pretty good. And we'll just shut that right down. Easy does her. Right on in. Just let it float out of the sky is what they tell you. Just kind of set it on down. Alrighty. We're on the ground, baby. We're on the ground. Whew, I tell you, it's always an exciting and
DG 002, exit runway when able.
exit runway when oh, we're not going to miss that one. All right, so this will give you the path in here. So let's just have a look, see where we're going to park that thing, so we can speed up a little bit here now, so we can. Cause that's one thing they tell you is that generally once you're on the runway, the idea is to get off the runway as soon as possible so other planes can land. I mean, in this case, I think we're fine. There's no other traffic, but it's a good, excellent rule of thumb. And we'll slow her down here a little bit. And we'll...
DGB 002, turn next taxiway.
That's what I'm doing, all right. Let's easy does it. Let's tune it. Turn her in. There we go.
DGB 002, contact ground on 118.4. Going to 118.4 DGB 002. Ground DGB 002, request taxi to parking.
This will...
DGB 002, taxi to general aviation parking using taxiway Delta.
See, that's another thing too, is it gives you, like taxiway Delta, each one of these roads that has a yellow line on it has a designation, like, you know, it goes by letter. Now, it wants me to go in, all right, it wants me to go in all the way around here, but what I might do is, because I don't want to crash into this, why that truck is there, I don't know. They have some interesting bugs going on with some of the ground stuff. So we're just going to do a little circle around here and try not to hit this van, which is, for reasons passing understanding, also parked there. So I think what they want me to do, we need to speed up here a little bit. Come on, get going. Hey, this is almost as hard as flying a plane. We're gonna bring her in here. Saying, yeah, we're moving that way a little bit, it's fine. And then we park her right here. There we go. We did it! So let's put the parking brake on. We can turn that down, and then we can go to our internal view here. And we can, I think all we have to do is turn this off and hit this little switch here. We did it! Nice land. Thanks, Tyler. Appreciate it. That actually went pretty well. I do find the icon is a little bit easier to handle on the approach when landing. than some of the other ones are. But again, it's a small airplane, so generally it's more a little more maneuverable. But hey, we did it. That was great. That worked out really well. Very, very fun. So I hope you enjoyed our little Northeastern Ontario tour today. That was very fun. We'll think of some other places to go. I know Tyler wants to see the Bermuda Triangle, so we'll definitely do that at some point. I'm very curious to see what'll. I'm pretty sure we'll make it out alive, but hey, we'll see what happens. But hey, thanks for everybody for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. That was a lot of fun, and we will do this again very, very soon. Thanks for hanging out. We'll catch you guys later. Have a good one.